Hey there, and welcome back to the Mini Weekend. I'm your host, Jack. Let's get into it, Mini. Ooh, that's tasty. All right, if you're new here to the Mini Weekend, my name is Jack, and this is my Minnesota sports podcast I have for you guys. Every once in a while, we dabble in the entertainment section, but for the most part, we focus on Minnesota sports and sports as a whole as well. So, yeah. Coming at you guys, we have every single episode, we kind of have the same layout. And it changes week by week based off of what happens in the sport world, what happens with our sports, and different takes and different things I'm thinking about. Without further ado, let's just kick it off with our 10 things we have to talk to you guys about this week. And the first one, during the podcast. It's a staple here. Always will be here. And we love shouting out, especially Minnesota sodas, non-alcoholic drinks, things like that. And every once in a while, when we get recommendations from you guys, we will try whatever you guys recommend. So without further ado, our good friends over at Northern Soda Co. It's been a while since we've had one of their sodas on, but today we're going with their ginger pop. And I have to say it tastes like a light version of like ginger ale. And I have to say I wasn't anticipating liking this. It almost seems like surprisingly it's not very carbonated as well. But very good. For those that do not know, Northern Soda Co. is a Twin Cities-based craft soda company specializing in 1950s style sodas using real cane sugar and premium ingredients in their sodas. It is located in New Brighton in kind of like a cool little warehouse district right off of what is that, 35W and what is that? And Highway 88. By 88, getting there, County Road D West is the exit you take to get there going south on 35W. So really cool area. The interesting thing about this place and this company is they're only open on the weekends. So they're closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they're open 4 to 8 on Fridays and Thursdays and Fridays. Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then Sundays at noon to 6. So if you want to go check them out, the weekend is the time to do it. And the cool thing about that is they are always having, now that it's nice out, they're always having cool events. So we're coming at you guys with our weekly podcast today on the 16th. Tomorrow they have a kids dance party from 5:30 to 8, which is super cool. Like I said, starts at 5:30. They are starting this Happy Thursdays thing where every Thursday from 4 to 8, you can stop by Northern Soda Company and join them for $1 off all taps, $2.50 off mugs, and $6 flights. It's a perfect excuse to try something new, meet up with friends, or kick back and relax at Tap Room. They got Dole Whip Week from April 3rd to April 20th. And every last Friday of the month, they have their soda sample frenzy where you can go and try out different sodas that they have from their craft stuff, from the stuff that they have through the store, and all that kind of stuff. For those of you wondering, you might be saying, Jack, if you're coming at us with this soda, have you been there? And I have. And I urge you guys, go check them out. It's a really cool place. When it's nice out, they have some stuff in the parking lot, bags. That little, I can never remember it, but with the 2 golf balls and you're trying to get them on the sticks, that kind of stuff. But inside they have some really cool like arcade type games. They have cards, they have board games, they have things that the kids can color on. They have a TV so you can watch sports games if that's going on. You can sit belly up, and right behind the bar is kind of the area where they make all their sodas, which is really cool to see. But yeah, they're always doing something. Go check them out, northernsoda.com, and you can learn all about all their stuff. You can order stuff online. You can make your own 6-pack, make your own 24-pack. And sometimes I kind of forget, you can go to our sodas on here and read about some of them. I thought this one, yes. It's so for their ginger pop, it says classic ginger ale, light and refreshing, crisp with a hint of lemon and honey and a subtle ginger finish, caffeine free. I don't get any honey, but that ginger we really like. So very good. You can also find them all over Instagram or social media. They're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And yeah, go check them out. Like I said, you will not be disappointed. Make sure you tell them their friends the Mini Weekend sent you. And without further ado, geez, I really in my older age have really taken a liking to ginger ale. And I honestly might like this more than ginger ale. The ginger ale Canada Dry that I really like. I love like the fizziness and the carbonation. That's kind of like what makes it for me. But I really love this lightness. I honestly might like this more than ginger ale. So I'm gonna go 8-7. I'm gonna go 8-7. I really like it. It's a different soda than I typically like, other than ginger ale. I've tried some other companies that try to do their spin of ginger ale, and it just doesn't work. This one does. So if you're a ginger ale lover, try this out. You will not be disappointed. I just I can't put it in the nines simply based off of just kind of my preferences. I'm a big root beer guy, and I'm a big cherry flavored. So a lot of the cherry stuff that we've tried on here, a lot of the root beers are up in the nines. I don't know that I'd go that far. It is very good. Let me know what you guys would rate it. Let me know what you think of it, and let me know what we should try out next week on our podcast for just for Trade Podcast. Awesome. Moving right along. Second thing we have to talk about. Once again, not sure how we missed this, but it was announced back on March 25th that the University of St. Thomas found Ruth Sin's replacement. For those that do not know, Ruth Sin was the all-time winningest coach for the University of St. Thomas women's basketball coach following this 25-26 season, after leading them from 2005 to 2026, including the transition from D3 to D1. Um, After 11 seasons as the head coach at Minnesota Duluth, the St. Thomas vice president and director Phil Epstein announced that Mandy Pearson will serve as the next head coach of the women's basketball program. She'll be the fifth coach in program history. Epstein had this to say about it: "I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome Mandy to St. Paul and the University of St. Thomas. Throughout the process, Mandy not only demonstrated she was the best coach for the job, but the best person as well. She's a proven winner, and her dedication not only to excellence on the court, but in human development as well, made her the obvious choice to lead the Tommy women's basketball." And Mandy had this to say about coming on: "I'm incredibly grateful to be named the head women's basketball coach at the University of St. Thomas. I sincerely appreciate Athletics Director Phil Epstein and Deputy Athletic Director Julie Manning's professionalism during the process. I'm very excited to begin working with both of them. Their visions for St. Thomas women's basketball on and off the court is incredibly exciting and effortlessly aligns with my own." So huge congratulations to her. Can't wait to see what she does with this team going forward. A couple of her accomplishments: she was the 2002, 2003, and 2022-2023, Division 2 national runner-up, a 25-26 NCAA Elite 8 appearance, six-time NCAA Division 2 tournament appearance, four-time NCIS tournament champion, latest one in the 22-23 season, the 2019-2020 NSIC Coach of the Year, fastest coach to reach 100 wins in UMD history. And she's coached 21 all NSIC selections entering the 25-23 seasons, including three-time WBCA All-American and 2023 NCAA Division II Honda Athlete of the Year, Brooke Olson. She's the former head coach at St. Mary's from 2007 to 2015. And she herself was a multi-sport student athlete at Concordia College in St. Paul. So a huge, huge congratulations to her. Can't wait to see what she can do with this program. Obviously, within these last couple of years, the women's basketball team have taken steps in the right direction. But it does seem like within the Pioneer, not the Pioneer football, the Summit League, women's basketball is just a little bit more competitive than the men's. It'll be fun to see what she can do, and we're looking forward to see what she can bring to this team. Awesome. Next thing we got for you guys: it's been a while since we have done this, but it's a segment that I really love doing, truthfully. And this is where we come at you guys with hot takes here and there. And I actually have two for you guys today on our segment. So we'll go through them kind of quick so that we can get to our other things. But the first one, I kind of talked about it yesterday in the NBA playoff preview. By the way, I apologize about my stuffiness. We're gonna try to get through this stuff so you guys don't have to listen to me sound like a moron for too long. But anyway, here we go. The first truthfully take I have for you guys is Coach Chris Finch is coaching for his job this postseason play. Why is that, you might ask, Jack? He's coming off of two Western Conference Finals appearances, and he is. but his refusal this last year and a little bit of the year before of not playing Mike Connolly and refusing to rely more on younger guys in the rotation is a cause for concern. Plus, I mean, this team needs to continue to build off its success. I think anything less of a Western Conference Finals appearance, he will be gone. However, if for some reason his coaching leads to the loss in round one, he will for sure gone. I saw somebody on TikTok, I think I posted something about this in the last day or two, and somebody was like, "Oh, you seem like the kind of guy that thinks Doc Rivers is the best coach in the NBA." I go, "Yeah, sure. There's a lot of good head coaches out there right now, but truthfully, if all else fails, I think Mike Nori would be a great option to come in and fill in his shoes, just to see at least what we have with him as a head coach." But I mean, and even though we made it to the Western Conference Finals last year, the types of losses we took, like the one win we had was like a 5 point win, which is a good win to have, but it was a close game. We got blown out the other four games, and it seemed like Finch in a couple of those games didn't, unless guys were in foul trouble, didn't really look to try to change things up, fix things up, get a new lineup in, try something different. And it just kind of seems like a coach that's kind of stuck in his own ways. And rightfully so. He's proven that he can take that leap with this team, which is what he did. But at the same time, I think in the NBA, you always have to be looking and willing to adapt. You look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, you look at the Boston Celtics, Indiana, New York, Houston, the Lakers. Like, you just always have to be on your toes, and you can't always just revert to old habits, especially when they're not working. And especially when the point guard you want to play is a 38-year-old undersized old age point guard. Like, I think like somebody had to have gotten in his ear and been like, "Look, if you don't start Dante DiVincenzo at the point guard, you're going to lose your job before the fucking season even ends." So thankfully he got that in there. But yeah, that is the first of the two. The second hot take I got for this segment is, should the Minnesota Wild beat the Stars and the Avalanche, we will win the Stanley Cup this year. Now, a lot of people might be thinking, well, no shit, like, we have to win two series, we're halfway there. But what I really mean by this, and this is not to throw shade and say these other teams are bad, but let's think about this for a second. If we get past the Avalanche and the Stars, we're more than likely going to have to play either the Golden Knights, the Oilers, or the Ducks. Okay. After beating two of the top three, top four teams in the league, I'm not worried about us having to beat one of those teams. And then on top of that, I'm not worried about us having to beat the Sabres, the Lightnings, the Hurricanes, or the Penguins. I'm really, really not. So it comes down to having to lock down. Obviously the Wild have to do something they haven't done since, I think it was 2014, which is just win their first round series. But this team is built to win. Bill Guerin went out and got Quinn Hughes, another superstar to add to the lineup of, Brock Faber, Joel Eriksson Ek, Matt Boldy, Kirill Kaprizov, the likes of those guys. And he also went out and got guys like and Bobby Brink. And he also went out and got guys like Michael McCarron, Nick Foligno to help bolster up the toughness, getting ready for the grind of the NHL playoffs. I really this year think, and we'll talk about this tomorrow on our NHL playoff preview podcast, but I really do think this is the year we break through. I don't necessarily, I think we have honestly, I think we have just as good of a chance as anybody else to win the Stanley Cup this year. I'm not saying this year it's Stanley Cup or bust. Just get past the first round. But this team really is built to win. So I think, should we beat the Stars? And again, it goes back to even earlier. Like, I'm more worried about beating the Stars than the Avalanche. Like, if we can grind out a 6-7 game series against the Stars, there's no reason I think we can't beat the Avalanche. And then if we beat those two teams, the last 8 wins shouldn't be that hard to come by. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Once again, tomorrow we'll kind of go through and preview predictions, what we think is going to happen in the entirety of the first round, with the Stars, the Wild, Oilers, Ducks, Avalanche, Kings, stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I got for you guys for Truthfully this week. Fourth thing we have to talk to you guys about I originally was going to just call it the WNBA, or not the WNBA, the Lynx draft, but we're going to go with the Lynx off season because we recently re-signed somebody as well. So First and foremost, the draft. A lot of analytics and a lot of places have given the Minnesota Lynx an A grade. So let's just dive into it. So they had the number 2 overall pick this last draft, despite losing in the WNBA finals. And they took point guard, 5'10" point guard from TCU, Miles, with the second overall pick. And then I believe it was either the last pick of the second round or the second to last pick. They took 5'11" shooting guard from Utah, Lanny White. And I totally forgot this. They got the number 2 pick this year thanks to a trade last year with Chicago, and it paid off because they really needed a good young point guard, especially after I can't remember her first name, something Anderson signed somewhere else, I think with Dallas. And they got the best one in the draft by a mile in Miles. She's an off-herd player. Her comparison that I've been hearing is Las Vegas veteran Chelsea Gray, who has the ability to make everybody around her better. True point guard, can shoot, can pass the ball, get everybody else involved. Her court vision is already pro level, and she can score and rebound, as a triple double prowess is proved in college as well. And she can defend too. Defense will be her biggest need for improvement, however, but she will benefit with working with the Lynx staff. Cheryl Reeves, who has been adamant at defense, turns into offense, which is awesome. So huge to see them making a splash in the draft, and hopefully they can see themselves back in the WNBA finals again this year, despite losing some um girls in free agency. And then it was announced just yesterday that Nafisa Collier signed a 1-year, $1.4 million Supermax contract with the Minnesota Lynx. She's a third player in the WNBA to sign a Supermax deal. So a huge congratulations to her. Well deserved. She is one of the best, if not the best, current players in the league. She's only 29 years of age and getting better. Fully deserving of the $1.4 million contract. Obviously, this is a big part of the due to the CBA negotiations they had recently. So yeah, it'll be fun to see her back in action, knowing that she's locked down for the season. I think the Lynx would have liked to have seen, a longer contract, but you can address that throughout the season. And it'll be interesting to see what happens here as the Lynx season will get underway in just under a month now. Their season opener is at home at the Target Center against the Atlanta Dream. And yeah, so huge congratulations to them on their drafting and signing Nafisa Collier back. That alone right there might bring them back to the WNBA playoffs, which is huge. So yeah, fifth in, our friends over at UNRL. If you haven't already noticed, we are rocking the Minnesota United Drop 3 crossover to hoodie. The color on this I absolutely love, and they're calling it the Tradition Blue, and it is sleek. It is like, don't get me wrong, I love everything that I have from UNRL, but I have a lot of grays, whites, and blacks. So whenever I get a chance to get something with a little bit like adding like a different color to my wardrobe is always appreciated. Got the cool little Minnesota Loon logo right there, UNRL up here, the little patch on the side to go with the MNUFC hat vented. Once again, you got the cool little Loon logo on the side here. The vented rope snapback. Gotta love it. This was their third drop. And all three of them were pretty solid. I gotta say, all three of them were pretty solid. I really like them. It's nice that, like I said, I always enjoy seeing some color in them. So this one probably had to be my favorite. But yeah, go check them out. Unreal, UNRL.com. They honestly have something for everybody. If you go onto their website right now, it doesn't look like they've announced any new collaborations. They've been doing a lot of really cool things this summer. You can still go on and shop their 126th US Open capsule, as well as their Rapala collaboration. But yeah, for those that missed out on their third drop, there will be additional units available for sale at Allianz Field tomorrow, Saturday the 18th, for their home game. So grab it if you want it there, or else it will be gone, as they say. But yeah, like I said, nothing new. I'm guessing within the next after the 18th year, give them probably about a week, maybe 2 weeks before they announce something else, whether they're going to do NFL stuff, whether they're going to do more stuff this season. I know I get a lot of inside stuff with them and cool things from them, but I have not been told of anything quite yet. So stay tuned. And like always, go check them out, UNRL.com. They are top of the line in athleisure. They have everything from things you can wear on the golf course to work, lounging around the house, working out, to events, to sporting events, really anything that you can think of. Top of the line in athleisure. I cannot stress that enough. Minnesota based company, which in my opinion, I love supporting Minnesota businesses. That's why I always prefer to go to Caribou over Starbucks. Not that Starbucks is bad, but you really just have to go check them out. They have something for everybody. They got hats, they got stuff for kids, polos, shorts, shirts, gym shorts, winter hats, everything. So go check them out and make sure you tell them their friends from the mini weekend sent you. And lastly, make sure you check out the link in our YouTube description, as if you use that link, you can get $15 off your first order and still accrue points on that order to use on future orders. Points can be used to redeem anywhere from $15 to $50 off any of your orders. Once again, go check them out. You will not be disappointed. Unreal Clothing truly is unreal. TM. Haven't officially trademarked it, but we really should. That'd be pretty dope. All right. So next up, we had 2 questions come by this week that I thought we would address. So the first one on last week's video, I'll put them down here at Caitlin Doyle L8B wanted to say, or she said, excited for the playoffs. Do you like the current playoff formats? Go Wild and Wolves. Thank you for the question and comment, Caitlin. We talked a little bit about the NBA playoff format yesterday, and I really dislike the play-in tournament. I think they should just get rid of the play-in tournament, give the 7th seed the 7th spot against the 2 seed, give the 8th seed that against that. Very rarely are these teams ever winning. Upsets do happen, but I just think the play-in tournament is stupid. I do want to note, if you didn't listen to yesterday's NBA playoff preview podcast, I am not against them expanding the playoffs similar to what the NFL has done. What I would say though, if the NBA is really hell bent on having 10 teams make the playoffs, instead of doing the stupid play-in tournament, give the 1 and 2 seeds first round buys, and then have 3 play 10, 4 play 9, 5 play 8, and 6 and 7 play in 3 best of 3 series. And then after that, you can either reseed or just have it go naturally and best of 7 series. That is personally what I would do. But to answer your question, because I didn't really, Caitlin, no, I really don't. I shouldn't say that. I like the playoff format for the NBA. I like the playoff for the NBA. I don't particularly like the play-in tournament. I think it's useless. I think it's stupid. I think it's unnecessary. But I do like the format. It's 1 through 8. You play the team, you get there, boom. And because of that, I strongly dislike the NHL's playoff format, and I really don't like it because what it forces you to do, or what it's telling you to do, is, hey, you have to get out of your you have to get out of your division, then out of your conference, and it makes sense to get out of your conference, but you have to get out of your division, and you have to continue to play 1 or 2 teams in your division, which you already played 6 or 7 times this last year. And nothing against the Colorado Avalanche, nothing against Colorado Avalanche, nothing against the Dallas Stars. But with how many times I've seen them play each other in the regular season, the last teams I want to see us play first thing right away is Dallas and Colorado. At least if you go to the standings, and if you go to conference, what it should be is Colorado playing the Kings, which is what's going to happen. But then Dallas should be playing Anaheim. We should be playing Utah, and then Vegas and Edmonton should be playing each other, and going that way. Because essentially, what you have here is, um in the Central Division, Colorado's 1, Dallas is 2, the Wild are 3. Okay. And then in the entire Western Conference, Colorado's 1, Dallas is 2, Minnesota is 3. In the entire league, Colorado is 1, Dallas Stars are 3, and the Wild are 6. So essentially, you have 3 teams that are the top 6 teams in the NHL. And by the time you get to the conference finals, only one of them is going to remain. And I think that is just preposterous and ludicrous. Now, I understand there's not always going to be strong play in these divisions, so it's going to level out every here and there. But this current playoff format really does a disservice on years where there really is a lot of good play. So to answer your question, I do like NBA. I do like their playoff format. I think their play-in tournament is useless and stupid. Joe, I think they need to go back to just 1v8. Now, I know what a lot of you might say. The NHL instituted this because they were trying to really, push home, the rivalries and all that kind of stuff. You're always going to have those rivalries. You're always going to have the Torontos and the Boston. You're always going to have, the Wild and the Colorado. We're always going to hate each other. Colorado and Minnesota and Chicago, we're always going to hate each other. Minnesota and Dallas, we're always going to hate each other because we're in the same division. We're already playing each other 6-7 times a year. The last thing we need to do is have to play them another 6-7 times first thing in the playoffs. So I would personally shake it up. But then again, what do I know? I'm just an aspiring podcaster. So that's the first question that we got. Didn't even get to the second question. And then the second question here from TikTok, Taylor Kavidum wants to know, who do you think is starting in net in game one for the Wild? And that is a great question. That is a great question because, excuse me, on one hand, they haven't announced it yet. But on one hand, you have Jesper Wallstedt, who's young and doesn't have any playoff experience, but has been playing very, very, very well lately. And then on the other side, you have a guy in Philip Gustafson who, who has a lot of playoff experience, but hasn't been playing particularly well lately. And the wins he has gotten down the stretch have come from letting up 3, 4, 5 goals and us just scoring more than the other team. When Wallstead lately has been playing, Wallstead's been only giving up 1 or 2 goals a game. So it'll be interesting to see who gets the nod. If I had to pick, I would say it depends. For me, it would come down to if I'm Bill Guerin or John Hines. Am I going to ride the hot hand? Because if you're going to ride the hot hand, you got to give it to Wally. Or are you going to, because this is kind of like a make or break, I shouldn't say make or break. This is kind of like we really should and we really want to win this first round series. So you should have Gustafson start it. But I think when push comes to shove, I think it's more important to ride the hot hand. And I think Wallstead is ready to go. I think if all else fails, if you throw Wallstead in and he doesn't play well in the first period or first half of the game, you always can throw in Gustafson. Gustafson has that quick ability to react, readapt, and everything like that. So that's why I think Wallstead should do it. Ride the hot hand and see what it gets you. And yeah, go from there. Next up, seventh thing on the agenda, we have the Twins staying hot. I mean, we talked about them last week. Don't need to beat a dead horse here, but the Twins, holy shit, have been playing super well lately. I don't think anybody saw us being atop the AL Central at all this season. On top of that, nobody saw us having the second best record in the American League at all this season. And for sure, nobody thought we would have a top 5 record in the league. Do I think this is sustainable? Absolutely not. I really don't. Like, we could have a pretty good season, but I think for this team, realistically, what to expect and on a best case scenario is somewhere between, I don't know, 85 and 95 wins. And who knows, that could be good enough to end up winning the AL Central if we can stay healthy and if we can keep kind of this level of play. Because at this rate, for every 20 games we play, we'll win 11, 12 games, which is on pretty good pace. On pretty good pace for the Twins. Josh Bell has been a monster so far. He's leading the team with 3 home runs, 14 RBIs. On the pitching side, we got Taj Bradley playing exceptionally well, 29 strikeouts in 4 appearances, 3 wins with a 1.25 ERA. Guys are just stepping up. Guys are playing their spots and playing well. We're losing games here and there, but I think the important thing is, I mean, going back to the start of the Tigers game, they've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've won 8 of 10 games after starting 3. After starting, what was that? 3 and sorry, my brain is after starting 3 and 6. It's going to be a fun ride. It'll be interesting. I don't think anybody, even this hot start, is expecting us to do amazing things, but it'll be interesting to see how far the Twins can take this, and what ultimately what it'll lead to. For those that are interested, they are off tomorrow, Friday. They did lose early Wednesday, or no, sorry, they're off today, Thursday, and will be back in action tomorrow, Friday the 17th, against Cincinnati. 3-game series at home against them before going to New York for a 3-game series against the Mets that will wrap up on the night of the next podcast. So that's what we got for the Twins staying hot there. And then a thing we've kind of talked about it a little bit before in different ways, but the Wolves and Wild are set to open playoffs. Both the NBA and NHL playoffs will get underway tomorrow, the 18th, or sorry, Saturday, the 18th. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be fun to watch and everything like that. Between the Timberwolves and the Wild, will be the first ones to play. The Timberwolves will be in Denver on Saturday the 18th for a 2:30 game, before having a day off and playing game number 2 on Monday at 9:30. Another fucking reason this Minnesota Timberwolves team needs to be in the Eastern Conference. 9:30 in Denver. Then they'll have 2 days off before coming home and playing game 3 at 8:30 on Thursday the 23rd. And then game 4 will be Saturday the 20th. And then if necessary, times are not put on these games yet, but if necessary, game 5 would be in Denver on Monday the 27th. Game 6 would be Thursday the 30th, and game 7 would be May 2nd, which is a Saturday. That's what we got for the Wolves. For the Wild, they are opening up their schedule on their postseason play on the 18th as well. They will be in Dallas for a 4:30 puck drop for game 1, and then game 2 they will be in Dallas for an 8:30 puck drop. On Monday, game 3 at home will be at 8:30 on Wednesday, April 2nd, and then game 4 will be at 4:30 Saturday, April 25th. Once again, just like the Timberwolves, those are the only 4 games that are guaranteed that have times allotted to them. And then, if necessary, game 5 would be back in Dallas on Tuesday, April 20th. Game 6 would be back here on Thursday, April 30th. And then Saturday, May 2nd, would be the same day that the Wild would close out the series. And I looked into this fun fact. The Wild and Timberwolves will attempt to do something they have not both done since 2003, and that is both of them in the same year winning a first round series. Let me rephrase that. The Minnesota Timberwolves for 2 straight years have gotten out of the first round. The Wild have not gotten out of the first round since 2014, but both the Wild and Timberwolves have not made it out of the first round together since 2003, and they will try to do that. And I really, 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 despite them not having home ice or home court in either of these series, I like their chances of both advancing in these instances. So buckle up. It's going to be a fun ride. It's going to be they're going to be close games. They're going to be awesome games. I cannot wait. Stay tuned. We're going to have a lot more to dissect and talk about as these series get going. So that's what we got for those guys. And then ninth thing I wanted to bring up was the NFL ref situation. So the NFL came out a couple days ago saying that they're beginning to onboard potential replacement officials, which I'm just glad they're being kind of transparent with all this. One thing I didn't realize is listen to this, NFL referees earn an average of approximately $250,000 per season as of the 25-26 seasons. It is also worth noting these officials are considered part-time employees and can receive additional bonuses for postseason games as well. But I've been saying this for a long time, and I think I speak for a lot of people when I say Goodell and the NFL needs to get off their high horse and just hire these guys on full-time, give them benefits, give them. I mean, I don't think I don't know, but I get this sense that these NFL refs don't necessarily want or need a ton more money. They're making a hell of a wage. I think they want benefits. It sounds like they already, despite being part time, get a 401k. They want medical benefits. They want some of these things. And I'm sure with some of those things, they probably want a little bit of an increase. But at the same time, it's like, at least, like, I hope I don't get canceled for saying this. I get the sense that the NFL reps want to be full time, but they're not. And because they're not full time, they have other jobs so that they can have those benefits that they're not getting from the NFL. And because of that, they're making these boneheaded calls, and they're going back to their buddies and saying, "Hey, did you see me on TV? I fucked over the Vikings and gave the win, or I fucked over the Chiefs so that the Bills could win. Do you see that? Do you see that?" So I think hiring these guys on full time, you wouldn't have those issues. You can hire these guys on full time. You bring them on board and you bring them in every single season and say, "This is what's expected of you. If you fuck up a call, you're going to be spent for a game." Like, really hammer down this stuff. I understand it's a business, but at the same time, I think I speak for a lot of fans when I just say, I just want uniformity. Like, I don't care if in a 5 game span watching Vikings games, you're just not going to call holding. That is perfectly fine with me. Just be consistent with not calling holding on either team. Unless it's like blatant, pull to the ground. It's obnoxious and it's not just Vikings fans. It's all I'll use a different example, but it's nauseating when I'm watching like an afternoon game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chargers. And the Chargers are a good team, and the league's still trying to suck on the teat of Patrick Mahomes. And it's nauseating when you see fucking 10 false starts on the Chargers, 10 defensive holdings on the Chargers in the first half. Meanwhile, Kansas City has gotten one false start, and they're not holding for some reason. Like, it has come out. NFL refs have essentially said, "Look, we do apologize. Like, we don't mean to miss this calls," but they're like, "There's essentially holding on every single play. It's just a matter of if we see it or not." Onboard these guys, make them full time, even put more crews out there so that they can see more. Because again, back to that comment that a ref said a long time ago, there's holding on every single play. It's a matter of if we see it or not. You add 2 more guys to the game, and you can really pay attention and hone in on some of those things. So you're like, hey, you two, your job is to line up on the lines and look for nothing else but holding. Like, I don't know. Thoughts to think about. And yeah, we're not even to the NFL draft, and I get worked up about this stuff. It's just so nauseating to watch sometimes, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. So yeah, that was a nice thing. And then lastly, our underdog parlay for the day, for the week. Once again, I mentioned the last couple times, use code Jack the Cash when you sign up. And Underdog, I believe, I have to double check with them. They will match whatever you deposit up to $200. So make sure you go do that. And yeah, excuse me. Without further ado, the picks I like for us this week, or for today: Andy Pages higher than a half hit. Pages right now is just scorching hot. He's leading the MLB in batting average, approximately 409. Early season with just elite contact. The Dodgers are in a favorable spot playing a Rockies team in Coors Field, but I really like him to at least manage one hit in this game. The second one, I like CJ Abrams higher than half of a hit. Just very much like Pages, he's hitting with power and production right now, 371 on the year, and they're in a good spot against the Giants. And Abrams has just been doing a really consistent job of getting on base. The third one I like for this week is Jordan Alvarez to get more than half of a hit as well. He remains one of the more reliable hitters in baseball and has a great matchup for Houston coming up here later tomorrow. And then the fourth and last one I like Shohei Ohtani higher or over 1.5 total bases. Once again, they're playing in Coors against the weaker Colorado Rocky team. He's got massive upside as he's just a big hitter. I anticipate him getting on base and yeah, at least getting around the horn at least once, which would already hit that one. So in conclusion, Jordan Alvarez, CJ Abrams, Andy Page is all over a half a hit, and Shohei Ohtani over 1.5 total bases. Make sure you bet responsibly. I am not a financial advisor, so I am not liable for any losses, just like I won't come after you guys for any of your wins. Do with these picks what you will. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER so they can get you the help and resources you need to get better. And lastly, this podcast is about you guys, the listeners. We addressed 2 questions today. If you have any other questions or topics you want us to address on here, please reach out on TikTok, Instagram, email us, whatever. Get a hold of us. Let us know if you want to stay anonymous with your questions as well. If you don't want to stay anonymous, we will shout you out so you can get some love and get your questions answered live here. But yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe button on YouTube to get notified of the new episode when it comes out, as well on whatever platform you listen to your podcast on. And with that, I'll leave you guys with until next time, Minnie.